Welcome to The Business on Radio Verulam, the voice of your local business community.
Hello, it's 30th of June, it's 8 p.m, and yes, welcome to The Business. I'm Trevor Meriden with the show that's essential listening for the West Herts business community. Well, can you believe it that we're into July so soon? It's been a crazy few weeks here in West Herts, and the business team have been ever so busy, and we've been all over things like various awards and issues, and today we've got a show with a difference, and I'm going to hand over to Roma to tell you more. Good evening, Roma Bomick.
Good evening, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good. Well, yes, thank you, Trevor. It's an evening with a difference. Since last week, you guys, that is Trevor, Vicky and Claire, and some of the other Radio Verulam team, were very privileged to be invited to cover the Retailer of the Year Awards at St Albans Arena. Retail, as ever, is a very interesting sector when it comes to analysing consumer behaviour. A report in the Retail Gazette, which was out earlier this month, suggested that whilst footfall in shopping centres and out-of-town business parks has fallen, there's been an increase in footfall at local high street level as shoppers favour smaller, more unique shops to the larger players. And I think we can certainly say this seems to be true for our region, and the awards seem to have been very much a celebration of this. Unfortunately, I couldn't be there, but I hear you all had an amazing evening covering the event, as well as some fantastic interviews with winners and other local organisations, and we're going to be hearing about some of those this evening, aren't we?
That's right. It sounds like it's going to be good recapping some of the things that happened. Vicky, sorry, Vicky Scott, I didn't introduce you. Welcome to the show.
I am here. Hi, Trevor. Yes, it was a fantastic evening and a real celebration of the best retail in St Albans. And there's no doubt about the fact that it was a real mixture. We'd got some very, very big brands that are very well known, that are spread out not only across the whole of the UK, but probably all over the world as well, competing with people as small as single market stall holders, and some beautiful, unique sort of specialist shops. So there really was some type of business from every sort of element of the retail sector. And I have to say, from the atmosphere on the evening, one would have thought that retail was in fantastic shape. Everybody was doing brilliantly, and there was no need to worry whatsoever. However, sadly, we do know that it's not quite true. I mean, we're very lucky that the awards came at a date when the Office for National Statistics had just put out recent figures that showed that the year-on-year growth for May was up 3.7%. And the British Retail Consortium's own figures that had been released at the beginning of June also sort of backed that up. So, that's sort of really good news. But there's, no doubt about the fact that there are quite a few empty properties in St Albans. And there's no doubt about the fact that, retail is a difficult business to be in.
It's a difficult business, but we're still seeing companies bucking the trend, aren't we? And as a region, we seem to be very capable when it comes to bucking the trend. I don't know. I think it's putting the other side of the coin, as it were, as we do here on the
Yes.
business show. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, I think that awards such as the Retailer of the Year Awards just really brought out that actually, though it is tough, actually it's creating some quite inspiring stories. I think, and I felt very inspired during the course of the evening. I think that what happened is that yes, it's tough, but in a way, sometimes toughness is goodness. That it actually brings out the best in people. The sort of for want of a better expression, the Dunkirk spirit, I would say.
I was about to say, is it that it's tough, or is it that the best businesses survive? Which is a really harsh comment, but as you guys know, I'm working on a project with high growth businesses in all sectors. Interestingly, not anyone in retail, but without exception, those companies are in marketplaces where other people are failing, but they're obviously getting it right. They're making sure that they're cash rich, they're keeping an eye on the cash flow, they're getting on with things the way they should. I mean,
I think you always see this, don't you, in when there's a recession or there's any sort of difficult times. If there is slack in the business, if it's not tight in what it's trying to achieve, if it doesn't know its customers, if it's not servicing customers properly, whatever the nature of the business, there's going to be fallout.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not such a bad thing that that some of these sorts of businesses that maybe shouldn't have survived don't. Leaves a space for some of these new fantastic entrepreneurial guys to come through, and we saw plenty of new businesses at the Retail Awards. They were incredibly special. There were, I think, as I recall, there were about 121,000 votes cast.
That's right.
There were eight categories. It was a fantastic celebration of, just as you say, Roma, how good St Albans is and how much is going on in the area. So it was a great opportunity to talk to a whole raft of different types of businesses.
I think it's worth giving a little bit of context as well. That as Roma Mills said when she got up and spoke,
another Roma
at the start, yes, another Roma, that it was difficult for her and for the rest of us, I think, to believe that the awards were actually in the 6th year of competition. It was an idea that was sort of dreamt up over a bit of coffee over in Barissimo's in St Peter Street, along with Martin Buhagier, who was the editor of the St Albans and Harpenden Review, and then Marion Hammond for the Civic Society. So they all got together, and from small ideas over sort of sticky buns and coffee sort of grows sort of a big thing. And so the nominations, as you said, Vicky, just have sort of just gone on. And I was just really impressed that the feeling of the event, just seemed to sort of spread, that there was a sort of infectiousness.
There was a real buzz in the atmosphere, wasn't there? There was a huge amount of professionalism. There was a lot of energy, and as I said, it was all the way through from sole traders on the market all the way through to some of the really big names in retail, all there, all in the room, all having a whole heap of fun, fantastic atmosphere, and we were lucky enough to be in amongst it, with microphones, broadcasting with the Swan Vesta band tuning up and everything behind us, which was quite a lot of fun.
Yes.
But it was a great celebration, and there's no doubt about the fact that there's a lot going on that is very, very good in retail in St Albans. Right. And it was what I was saying. I saw that 9% of all UK businesses are retailers, and they represent the biggest independent employees in the country, employing over 3 million people. It's a heck of an important category of business. Yeah. So all very good that we're looking after it properly and that we're celebrating it in St Albans.
Okay, and that's great. Now, one of the features of the evening was of course that the audience were encouraged to do little drum rolls,
really?
before on the tables, and it's kind of weird. Are we going to do the end bit first, and actually reveal, because people know already, don't they?
Yes,
who actually won that? Do you want to say a little bit about who the winners were, and then we'll go. What we'll do then is we'll go into maybe the individual categories, perhaps.
Okay, well, the overall winners, and we've got a great clip of them a little bit later. Yeah. The overall winners were the Alternative Barbering Company.
Right.
And I interviewed them at a stage in the evening when they'd only actually won the health and beauty category.
Yeah.
So you have to forgive the interviews just covering that, but they were the overall winners. Yeah. They did fantastically well, very, very young business. We'll talk about them a little bit later in the evening. Waterstones were absolutely flabbergasted to have won the best specialist shop. Yeah. And their editor, Sean Farrell, we've got a lovely interview with him, which was really great.
Well, maybe what we'll do is we'll hear a little bit from Sean now, perhaps.
Okay, fine. Yeah. Let's go straight into Sean's coverage. He literally just picked the award up, came out, and I collared him on his way to the bar, I think it was.
Right. It's always the best time to grab someone, and hopefully we'll get a little clip now of what he said.
So, congratulations, I'm Sean Farrell. You are the manager of
Waterstones, yes.
Now, you said, as you came off stage, that you were a bit surprised.
Very surprised.
Why were you surprised?
Well, because there's a lot of other decent, very good retailers in our category.
And so it's very, very hotly challenged.
It is very hotly challenged.
Why do you think you won?
I think we won because I've got a great team. who put a lot of effort into what they do, and I think because customer service is at the top of everything that we do, and I think that's kind of something that people appreciate.
One of the things that I always notice when I go into Waterstones is that the people seem to really love reading. So they really know what they're talking about. Is that something you look for in your staff?
Absolutely, otherwise we wouldn't be able to recommend anything. There's so many different products in the store. If we didn't read the books, we wouldn't have a chance.
So you were up against some stiff competition. Mm-hmm. Who do you think was the stiffest competition?
I thought Cuthbert's Toys might win, actually.
They've been winners in the past.
They have, and they're still very, very good retailers. So we're doing something with them this Saturday. We've got an event going on, and they're going to run a Scalextric competition in our store, which is,
races, car races and Scalextrics in store.
Yeah.
What fun! And how did you come about? How did that little relationship?
Well, we were looking at doing an event today for kids for St Albans, and we wanted to just get Scalextrics, and they were the obvious choice. The best toy shop in town. Yeah,
well, fantastic. Well, congratulations. I don't want to keep you away from your fantastic team any longer. That's Sean Farrell of Waterstones, who have just won the Specialist Shop of the Year award. So congratulations.
Wow, how interesting. Now, what I'm fascinated about is that Waterstones are essentially a national brand, and yet they won Specialist Retailer. Who votes when it comes to the awards?
Well, what happens is that a lot of people who would have put forward Waterstones in the first instance, that then leads to what they call mystery shoppers, going and visiting each of the people who have been nominated, and then the judging panel and the mystery shoppers score against a whole criteria of different elements, and then the store that gets the highest overall grading from the mystery shoppers is the winner.
And do we know... Oh, little glitch there. Do we know what won over, as it were? Interestingly, they've had a whole refit, haven't they? I went in recently, and they've got this really lovely coffee shop, and it's a lot more relaxing. And bear in mind, we lost some of the bigger players, which was really sad. I'm a real fan of bookshops. What do you think people were excited about with Waterstones?
Well, I think, Waterstones has been around for quite a long time. They started off in the Brompton Road, I think, in 1982, when I was sort of down in that neck of the woods, and now they've got about 300 stalls all over the country. And there's no doubt about the fact that book sales, it's tricky. So what I think that they've been able to achieve, and what certainly we heard a little bit about on the interview, is they really understand why people like books. They really understand why families like sitting in the sort of kids area with a couple of kids on beanbags looking at books. All of the staff that are in there love books, love reading. They're not frightened of Kindles. In fact, there's a whole new section in Waterstones which is just selling lots of different types of book reading, electronic book readers. In fact, they've got their own Kindle as well. So they're sort of embracing change. They're grabbing hold of it. They're recognising that people might be coming and browsing and then going out. But it's so much about the customer service, I think, in Waterstones. They just know what they're talking about. They know about books. They read books. They like books, and they can help you. And it clearly struck a chord.
Are you a bookshop fan, Trevor?
I love browsing. I love going in there. The kids love it. There's a sort of kids section at the back on the ground floor, and they will go in, and particularly the one that's the eldest now will sort of spend a few hours in there browsing. You can actually, it's quite a good sort of creche facility.
Yeah, we used to do exactly the same.
Don't tell them.
For slightly older children, not very young children, of course. But I very much was pleased, actually, because sometimes particularly when we're talking about local awards, the big national chains could get overlooked, and actually I think that they actually kind of mix the two. There's a bit of a fusion there between the sort of national and a national chain, but also quite a local feel, actually. I think they're quite attuned. And if they do have sort of remits from high office, I almost said, so probably the high head office, that they still manage to sort of put a local sort of interpretation on that. So I think I was pretty pleased to see them win that stiff competition, though. Should we say a little bit about the food and drink category, Vicky, it's pretty hotly contested, wasn't it?
Oh, hugely hotly contested. And we were saying all through the evening that we are definitely going to try and get onto the blind testing or the mystery shoppers for the food and drink category, because there are so many restaurants and bars and cafes and everything else that are in St Albans, and we're clearly a really sort of foodie place with the Food and Wine Festival and the beer festivals and everything. So actually what this came down to this year were the shortlisted entries were Dixie's Cupcakes, and we know we love cupcakes, ANC Meats in Catherine Street, which is a fantastic butcher's. I don't know whether any of you have been to it, but they really are a superb butcher's. Buongiorno Italia, our very own Tony Pisciotto, who comes on the show has been on the show a number of times and is always great fun. He actually won it last year. Hatch of the Maltings and Tomoko Spirits Boutique, who've also been on the show. Hatch of the Maltings won the award, and we've got a clip, I believe, of me interviewing them shortly after they'd won the award. Two lovely young chaps with a business that's only 6 months old. That's
right, by the names of Andrew Bonar and Chris Evans, who spoke of the need to be perhaps just that little bit different when it comes to food and drink. Here we go.
I'm now with the winners of the Food and Drink Award. They are Hatch from the Maltings. I'm with Andrew Bonar and Chris Evans, who are partners in this very new business.
Yeah, 6 months old, and so far going very well. We were just happy to be here and be nominated, and to win it was a great surprise. I mean, it's been really...
Why do you think?
Really nice.
Why do you think you won it? You must be doing something right.
I think we're a bit different.
I think it's just because it's something slightly new and different to St Albans. The thing that we had in mind to bring to St Albans was something different for lunch. We've got so many different restaurants, chains, independents that are all doing really well, which are all booked out every Saturday night. And so St Albans is clearly a very foodie town. Yet we have nothing that's of a decent quality at lunch, something to go, something that's quite casual. So you're stuck with cold chain Marks and can I say that?
Yeah,
sandwiches
that are BBC.
that are refrigerated and cold and made 2 days before, and it's just very boring. So what we want to do is bring something that you can have for lunch that's not bad for you, not boring in taste, but it's affordable and it's different and it changes every day. So
you're both young guys. Is catering in your background, or is it just you like food?
Yeah, I've been a chef for a number of years.
Okay.
Yeah. And I worked as a restaurant manager for Lustman's for 3 years, and Andre kind of took me under his wing. I've been working for him in and out since I was 17, so for a long time. And he taught me a lot, and they're still very supportive. I think he pops in quite a lot. I think he was in today, wasn't he?
Today, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah.
And so you're 6 months old, and you've won this award. Well, you've entered it for the first time, and you've walked away with it. You must be absolutely delighted.
A surprise, yeah.
Well, don't keep saying so surprised.
Sorry.
It sounds as though you're fantastic. What are you going to do with the award? How are you going to promote this? How are you going to use it in promotion?
Well, we're lucky because it's quite a small place. It's a hatch. There's only 2 or 3 of us. We've got a staff. We've got 6 of us altogether. There's us 2 who do most of the work, and we've got 4 part-timers. Mm-hmm. So we're quite lucky. We have a lot of interaction with the customers. So we'll just let them know, and I'm sure a lot of them will be asking tomorrow how we did, or if they don't know already. So that's great.
And is the party going to start now? You're sounding very
sober.
You know what?
He's off, and he's off tomorrow, and I'm working. So it's a bit annoying. But there will be celebrations tonight.
One of us will be celebrating.
Yeah.
Good. That's fantastic news. So thank you ever so much, Andrew Bonar and Chris Evans, the winners of the food and drink category from Hatch.
Yeah, interesting the Lustman's connection there, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah. They were such lovely guys. They were so sort of young, yet they'd got so much experience already, and they'd seen this sort of gaping hole in the market, which you just wouldn't have thought that you could see in the food and drink category. But they've found it, they've slotted in, and I don't doubt whatsoever that there'll be hatches all over Hertfordshire in the not too distant future. They just seemed so together. 6 months, they're already employing 6 people. Just clearly going from strength to strength.
It's interesting actually, because they are a static small business, but it reminds me very much of the pudding stop concept. And of course, the pudding stop are still very, very successful at St Albans Station. I don't know if you've ever bought any puddings from them.
The odd one. Yes.
The odd one, yes.
Where have you
never seen them? They're amazing. At the back of St Albans Station in the car park, they've got this very French-looking vehicle that converts into I suppose it's like a mini burger bar equivalent, but they sell handmade puddings, and they're amazing, and they do exceptionally well. And last year, actually, didn't they win outright at the Food and Drink Festival? I think they won they were outright winners.
Oh, right.
And they're a very small concept food company.
It also reminds me of that chap that came to sell fish, or to take orders for fish at Claire's place a while ago. Do you remember that chap that sort of drives down from Hull or something?
No, it was Trevor.
Came to my house. He came again actually a few days ago.
Oh, did he?
And so I was questioning him about that. No, he was down from Tyne and Weir,
right.
And it was really good. And he said he came down every 3 months, and he was just talking about how actually the distance almost didn't matter in the way what people wanted. There was certain people who wanted just good quality fish, no matter how much it. Not he didn't say no matter how much it cost, but certainly quality over sort of over the price. So local isn't quite what it used to be, and local sort of taken on a different meaning. And if people want to kind of actually have the imagination to sort of go further, if you like, then sometimes they could be quite richly rewarded for it.
So it's interesting, isn't it? We've got the big organisations going local and meeting the needs of the locality, and we've got the not so local but very specialist organisations going to where the market is.
Very good point.
Maybe there's 2 learning points there.
Yes, absolutely. Now, on that note, I mean, there was also, when you're talking about, there's also various fish stalls and things like that down at the market, and the market is the next sort of of the categories. Market traders. So many popular stalls in St Albans, and actually. To be honest, this was what's coming up now is my favourite interview of them all. Do you want to talk a bit about the market traders?
I think it's just quite nice to talk about the market, because there's sometimes a feeling that the bricks and mortar versus the market are in sort of serious competition with each other, and there's a bit of a battle going on about exclusivity on markets and all these sorts of different issues going on. But actually what you see is that the market really adding huge amounts of atmosphere. It makes the shopping experience really lots of fun, brings all sorts of small different types of elements to the shopping experience and to what you can buy. And so I think it really, really works for St Albans and for all of the retailers as well as the market stall holders. Now, the chap that this is another hotly contended category. And the chap that actually won in this category has a fabulous story to tell about how his business started. The guy that won it is a chap called John's Fabrics. Let's cut over to the clip.
That's right. Vicky caught up with John Evans, our man down the market, and I think we can safely say he was refreshingly honest about his success.
I'm here with John Evans of John's Fabrics, who has a stall on the market every Wednesday and Saturday. So congratulations, John.
Thank you.
I understand this is the first time that you've won the award, but you have been a runner-up, is that right?
We were nominated last year, but won it this year, yes.
That's fantastic. So what do you think you did differently this year from what you've done in the past?
Not a clue. Not a clue. No.
Well, congratulations anyway. And is the busy time for the fabric industry?
At the moment, yes, picking up a lot, due to evidently a television programme.
Oh, really? What, television, not radio?
No, there was a television programme.
And you were on the telly?
No, it was about people sewing.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yes, I remember.
Called the Beanie or something.
And so everybody's now taken up and is making their own clothes?
A few people have started again, yes. They decided they'll had enough of the clothes in the shop and we'll try and make our own again.
And how did you get into fabrics in the first place? Were you a horse? Now then, that's an interesting story.
There was a horse running in the Grand National called Rag Trade.
Really?
And me and my parents, we decided that we'll put a £5 on it. If it wins, we'll go into fabric. and if it loses, we'll stay in petrol. And it won, so we sold the petrol station and went into fabric.
Blimey, well, that's the way to start a business. And was it very different from petrol?
Completely. Just a little bit, yes. Just a little bit.
So what sort of fabrics are selling well at the moment?
Mainly dress fabrics.
Vicky, can I ask a question a sec?
Hold on a second, we've just got a question in hold on.
Vicky, I was wondering whether John's considered how his life may have turned out then. Had it gone down a different fork in the road then? What does he think he'd be doing right now?
If the horse had lost, I'd still be selling petrol.
Right. Okay.
Well, very, very good question that. But fortunately, the horse did win. Sorry.
Yes, it did win.
And so, how long have you been on the market?
35 years.
Oh, 35 years. Goodness me. So you must have seen quite a lot of changes over that time.
Yes, a lot. Yeah.
And what are the biggest changes at the moment going on?
It's just the amount of traders. Markets are shrinking.
Right.
Where we need new trade.
So
People
really,
aren't there coming up.
right. So you'd like to see more stalls with more people to attract more customers to
Need
offer.
more different trades, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you're the only fabric people on the market,
On
aren't
a
you?
Wednesday, yes, but on a Saturday there's 4 of us.
Really? Oh well, I've only ever spotted yours, so
That's
there
I'm
you
the
go.
best one.
Because you're. And what makes you the best one? Well, clearly
'Cause
you're
I've
the
just
best
won.
one. Yeah, clearly you're the best one because you've just won.
Well,
So-
I'm the best looking.
well,
So
there is
what can
that,
I
of
say?
course, which, you know, we should be on telly really, rather than
Well,
radio.
no, I haven't got a face for radio.
No, but seriously, what do you think makes you the best?
I don't know.
You really
I
don't
don't
know.
No.
It's not that sort of market banter that you've got with all your ladies coming along, is it?
Yeah, it's probably a bit of that and the quality of the fabric and
Right.
the price and I don't know.
So it's a combination of everything.
It's just a combination of everything.
What a fantastic twist of fate, eh? Life turning on the outcome of a horse race.
Absolutely, and he could have been selling petrol.
That's right.
I love the fact that he didn't know why he was doing so well, and it's just because everyone's buying material. Lovely.
It just goes to show you can have as many business plans as you like, and sometimes you just get it right. Sometimes you just have the knack. It was great. I'd forgotten how loud the Swan Vesta band got on occasions. So that was quite fun.
Well,
quite fun.
They are a sort of refreshingly loud band. I mean, it did test our audio equipment a little bit on the evening, but Swan Vesta, if you're listening, we still love you.
Yeah, it was also interesting. Just sort of recalling some other programs that we've run. That he talks about how influential that sewing program had been on television at encouraging people to sew, and of course the Joanna from the Cupcakes company recently, we were talking about why is it cupcakes have made such a comeback, and the whole of the Great British Bake Off that's been going on television has really helped that. So it's really it's just really interesting to see that trends can really be turned around by media. It's a shame it's not been radio in those two instances, but hey, maybe the next one.
Well, we've gone through 3 of our 9 categories on the evening. We're going to take a very short break here, but I would encourage you, if you've got sort of recollections of the evening, which was only last Monday after all, then please do tweet us on @RVTheBusiness, and we'd be delighted to hear your views, whether you enjoyed the event, felt you was robbed, or however you felt. It would be lovely to receive your tweet. We've had a number of sort of tweets and retweets in terms of the broadcast live broadcast that we put out on the night. So many thanks for those, and we'll be back right after this.
Hi, this is Danny Smith. Join me weekdays from 4 till 7 p.m. for West Harts Drive Time, with features including Chris's Film Club, Pound Saver, Community Notice Board, Calendar Artist, Hot Topics and many more besides. We also feature correspondence covering topics such as lifestyle, consumer advice, cooking, interior design and travel. We have regular interviews, local news and sports, celebrity birthdays, travel and traffic updates and competitions as well. That's all on West Harts Drive Time with me, Danny Smith, on 92.6 FM, Radio Verulam.
Radio Verulam Community Partners.
The St Albans District Talking Newspaper is a local charity which offers a free news service to people who are visually impaired. News is taken from the Hearts Advertiser and is read and recorded onto cassette tapes and memory sticks, which are sent out each week. If you know someone who is visually impaired who might be interested, please ring Linda Randall on 01582 832275 for more information.
For more on Radio Verulam Community Partners, go to radioverulam.com/community partners.
If you want to get in touch with the business on Radio Verulam, phone us on 01727 839 926 or email thebusiness@radioverulam.com.
So the next chaps that we talked to actually won the Star Award. And the Star Award is a particularly special award, and it's relatively new to the Retailer of the Year awards. And it's been given by the committee to a particularly special retailer who they don't think can necessarily win in one of the other categories, but they just thought what they were doing was so excellent and so good and so special that they wanted to create a special award. So it's called the Star. It was originally introduced in about 2010, and it was really to reward that trader who they think goes that little bit further. The first guys that won this award were Pots of Art, the lovely store on Holywell Hill, where you can go and be fabulously creative, with or without family. In 2011, LA James was given the second Star Award in recognition of its 50 years service to the city. And last year the trophy was given to the market traders, the Card Sisters, Christine Firth and Marion Maguire.
I bought many a card from them.
Have you?
Yes,
Have you?
absolutely.
They'd been running the business in the city for about 36 years. This year, the award was given to Colin Wright, who has the birdseed stall on the market.
And that's right. And I think it's fair to say that he found himself rather taken aback and surprised by his success, as we'll hear here.
But this is a very, very special award, and it's given by the judges to a company that is considered to be most outstanding, might not necessarily be big enough or specialist enough to win one of the other awards, but for some particular reason they think you're a star. So, Colin, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Was it a big surprise?
It was a huge surprise, yes.
And you tell us a little bit about your stall. It sounds very specialist.
Well, I started out just selling garden bird supplies, initially selling bird tables and feeders that I'd made myself, and then started selling bird seed as well. And it's just for the garden birds, and expanding gradually into other fields now, pet food and stuff like that.
Oh, wow. And why do you think that you won the award?
I think garden birds are a very popular thing, really, with lots and lots of people, so it's a very nice thing to do, and I really enjoy what I'm doing, so I think that comes across.
You're a big... are you a twitcher, or are you...
I wouldn't say I was a twitcher. I love watching the birds in the garden, and that's what I'm about. So I have wonderful conversations with lots of my customers about what they've seen this week and last week, and it's a really nice thing to do, and you've really always got something to talk about with your customers, which is
every
great.
year in I think it's January, I do the RSPB, and I think that's probably enormously helped people looking out for birds in their gardens.
Yeah, and things like Spring Watch as well have all been fantastic for the gardens.
Wow. How interesting. Again, I'm just amazed at how many different businesses came up in the awards. You know, I've deliberately not listened into the interviews pre this show so that I could really get a sense of what was going on the night. How exciting. And I have seen the little birdseed man, I was about to say. How rude. But I have seen his stalls, and it's interesting that he talked about Spring Watch, because before he even said that, I was thinking, going back to the theme of TV shows that influence people, I was thinking about Spring Watch, ironically. But he sounded like he was a fascinating guy.
He was just delightful, really, really delightful. And, it's another one of those things where people have really taken to sort of looking after the birds in their garden, looking to recognise new different birds, looking to attract new birds with different seeds. And I know all about this because I decided that I wanted to get goldfinches into my garden. And I persevered, and after 2.5 years, I finally got goldfinches, and now they come on a very regular basis, and they're very, very beautiful. But it's in talking to people like Colin that helped me figure out what it was that I needed in my bird feeders in order to attract those particular types of birds. So, and there's some very splendid birds out there. What we didn't hear was that he'd also had been... got so many requests for additional types of pet foods that he is expanding a bit beyond birds, and he's doing a little bit of dog and cat and hamster and this, that, and the other as well. So he's sort of like expanding as well, which is great.
That's on a more serious note. That's actually quite an issue for many businesses about the extent to which they expand. Okay, this is all still animals, but and so it's specialist to that extent. But actually, if he's known as the bird seed stall man, then that's what people know what they're getting. So it's a risk for any business, but it sounds like he's doing it on the back of success. So.
Well, sorry, yes.
Well, I was just going to say, well, again, our little lessons again for this evening. There's another theme, isn't it? Diversification and knowing not just when it's appropriate, but what's appropriate. Because the one thing we do know is that as a strategy, it's important to stick to what you know really well and try not to go into anything that you don't particularly know, because you could be taking too much risk. But then something like that, where it's got a good fit, then maybe it's a good opportunity to look at diversifying. So another theme for us tonight.
Yes, and it's interesting as well, because also I would imagine quite essential, because there was a whole period of time when actually you shouldn't really be feeding the birds at all, because because of the young birds and things like this. They really should be learning to forage and fend for themselves. There's lots of bird seeds and bird foods that shouldn't be fed to very young birds and things like that. And there's only so many sort of bird boxes or bird baths or tables things. So my guess is that things were going well, and then he thought, well, what am I going to do over this sort of slightly slacker summer months? And interestingly enough, of course, people that are interested in animals tend to have other animals as well. Or so birds isn't an animal.
Well, my cat loves birds.
Yeah. Well, I have a cat. I love all animals, but I have cats and I love birds too. So I think they're not mutually exclusive.
Right. Should we move away from the market and let's all go down the pub? But which pub?
Oh yeah.
Yes, which pub indeed. This was quite extraordinary, actually, because, once again, there are so many lovely pubs in St Albans, and this it wasn't an award actually for the pub, it was for the Festive, the most festive pub, and it was an award that was given
last Christmas.
At Christmas,
right?
Yeah,
okay.
It was sort of judged at Christmas.
Christmas in June.
So this is something that they sort of already knew had been awarded, and this award went to the Portland Arms in Portland Street, that had impressed the mystery drinkers. That's another one we've got to get on, isn't it? Mystery drinkers.
Like that.
That's one panel I'm
so this was
desperate
actually,
to be on.
yeah, this was crowned Festive Pub of the Year actually at Christmas. And the pub landlord, Neil Decca, I had the luck of interviewing shortly after the awards. And they only he and his wife Julia began running the pub in September. So to be recognised quite so quickly is fantastic, because quite often, pub landlords need to get really settled in and get regulars going before they're going to get those sorts of accolades. So they clearly have been doing a great job. And he was charming. He said he was going to dedicate the award to his wife and two daughters, Jennifer and Stephanie, if you're listening, and his daughter's fiancé Ryan as well, who, as I understand it, was heavily involved in decorating the pub. They said the Christmas decorations were colonial and traditional and tasteful. And clearly congratulations are out there to the Portland Arms. I think we've got a clip of the
yes, we have, and listen closely to the accent. It's not old St Albans, I would say. Here we go.
And this time I'm with Neil Decca, who has just won the Festive Pub of the Year. Congratulations. Was that a big surprise, or were you expecting it?
We did have some inkling that it was possibly going to happen, but it was still a nice surprise.
And why do you think you won it? What's so fabulous about your pub?
It's a very traditional pub. Everybody that walks in the door, the first thing they say is what a nice feeling they get when they walk in.
Now, can I detect a bit of a twang of an accent in there? Where does that accent come from?
You have an accent, not I.
Well, that's a good answer. It's a good answer. But you don't sound as though you're from around these parts.
No, but I've from America.
Right.
Came over here on a teacher exchange scheme and bought a pub up in the North Yorkshire Moors.
Oh, really?
In 1986. Married a lovely English girl and been here ever since.
And you've been a publican ever since?
Yes.
Wow. And what brought you to St Albans?
That's where my initial exchange, the teacher exchange, was in St Albans.
And what did you used to teach?
I was a physical education.
You look like a rugby player, but they don't. Or American football, maybe.
Yeah. Ex-rugby player.
Ex-rugby player. So, what took you into the pub industry?
Just the pubs in St Albans. I absolutely loved them when I was on the exchange, and the idea came up of buying an English pub. I thought it was fantastic, and sold everything we had in the States and bought our first pub.
And I always sort of think, busman's holiday, that as a publican, where do you go to relax? But I know that you go to other pubs because I bumped into you in the garden of a beer festival at the Brocket Arms not so long ago. So really, when you're not in your pub, you're in other people's pubs having a good time.
Yeah, a good friend of mine runs that and is doing a great job. So try to help everybody.
Oh, brilliant! So. Isn't it strange that England is the only place in the world that has pubs, like we have pubs, and yet they're so popular and they're so much fun, and they're such a unique thing.
They do try to replicate them everywhere, but never get it quite right.
Never get it quite right. But even as an American, you've managed to get it quite right here, and clearly you have because you've won the award.
Absolutely.
What do you think is special about the pub? You've said it's oldie-woldy, you've said that it's traditional, but there must be something else, apart from you, of course.
It's just being friendly to everybody, and like I said, when everybody walks in the door, they have a nice feeling about the place, the decor, the atmosphere, the greeting. It just it all kind of forms a package that people think, oh, what a lovely place. And we also, for any lady that walks in, we want her to be able to walk in on her own and feel comfortable right off the bat. That's unusual. It
is unusual, and that's great. That's a really, really good thing. So it's we've talked to a lot of people this evening, and what seems to be a theme that's running through the awards this evening is it's all about sort of customer-centric approach. It's about customer service. It's about engaging with the customer and really making them feel as though they're sort of a part and parcel of the business, as opposed to somebody that's walking through the door that's going to walk out.
Absolutely, just being nice.
Fantastic.
People love people being nice.
Well, you Americans are very good at that. Thank you ever so much, Neil.
Okay.
Congratulations. Have a fantastic rest of the evening, and thanks for coming over and doing the interview.
Well, publican rather than Republican. That's the usual when you hear about the Americans, isn't it? A terrible generalisation. But how lovely. Have you been to the Portland Arms yet?
I have. It's not quite my local, but it's one I've been in quite regularly. I've got a number of friends who like its character, and I go in there and you just feel very comfortable sort of straight away. Actually, I mean, it's where I would go for a really good chat with a friend. Not one of these kind of newfangled moderno
maybe it's
pubs,
the place that we have to go for our next strategy meeting.
Yeah, exactly.
Strategy meeting. That sounds like a good plan.
Strategise for several hours.
Absolutely. I like the fact that he said right at the end that one of the things we'd like to be known for is that a woman can come in on her own and sit and feel comfortable. And I thought, how good. I would be uncomfortable to go into a pub on my own, but it's nice to know that you would be welcome there and not made to feel a bit uncomfortable. I'm trying to think where they are. I know St Albans well, but I can't think where Portland Street is. Do you know, Trevor? Well,
yes, I do. If you there's at the bottom of Verulam Road, there's a garage that's been sort of knocked down and recently and then rebuilt. A lot of people know as you're coming in from the Redbourne sort of roundabout, and it's one of the roads off to the right along there, and it's kind of in that area which is quite near Verulam Park, Verulam Park. Right. And so it's in the kind of oldie-woldy sort of part of St Albans, just off
round the corner from the Red Line and the White Line and those.
We all of us here sort of form our directions in terms of pubs. I was interested actually. You said you bumped into Neil at a beer festival. What was all that about?
Oh dear, it was a very messy beer festival as well. It was. The Brocket we're holding a beer festival, and we'd arranged to meet some friends at the beer festival, and we cycled there, which I thought was a very, very good idea. I'm going to have to admit, I drank pink champagne all night. I didn't have beer, but sort of we'd been there for an hour or so, and suddenly this chap popped up. Was very, very good mates with the guys that we were with, and it was Neil Decca, and of course, when I bumped into him again at the awards, it was like, good Lord, last time I saw you was in the beer garden. But
yes.
It was a great evening. I have to say, I shouldn't say this really, but we cycled our bikes back in the pitch black with no lights on, and probably a little the worse for wear.
Right,
so fortunately, it's very close to where I live, which is quite nice.
Right, fantastic. We're going to say a little bit about another award. We don't have an interview for this because the person who won it wasn't actually present at the award, so no recording there. This one though was for the Festive shop window. Again, festive because of Christmas last year, so. The shops in St Albans are judged on their festive windows, and I think Kath Kitson also won it the previous year. I think won the vote of the mystery shoppers, and I know that they were all very surprised last year, and there were sort of 12 other shops were shortlisted, including sort of Floribunda and Chloe James and so on were highly recommended in the previous year. I'm not sure about who else was recommended in this year. So congratulations though to them as well. And now it's all about handbags and glad rags, really, isn't it? So should we move on? An area I don't know a lot about. So please treat me gently.
The fashion and accessories category,
Yes.
which was won by Carousel Handbags, which is it's like a cornucopia of an Aladdin's cave of the most delightful and wonderful selection of handbags in the arcade, just at the lower part of town.
I'm down here with one of my...
Sorry, that was a bit premature there. My mistake.
And that sounds as though it was Ellie.
It was, but let's Ellie. Just wait a moment, please, because Vicky's talking.
She likes to jump in. She's dead keen, is our Ellie.
Well, this is another one of those very, very difficult categories because there are so many fantastic independent stores. There's so many fantastic chain stores in St Albans. We've got, something for everybody, really. So for a small independent specialist like Carousel to win, it's fabulous. Really, really lovely. The girls were delighted. Of course, they were very, very glamorous, as you can imagine, and had fantastic handbags. And I think I've got to go and say hello to them again.
Absolutely.
Okay, should we hear from them?
Yeah.
Let's.
I'm down here with one of my favourite retailers, the gorgeous, looking lovely this evening, Laura Lilley from Carousel Handbags. Hello, darling.
Hello, you're very kind.
Wow, very honest, very honest. So, Carousel, up for a shortlisted award?
Yes, we're very excited. We're just happy to be here tonight. We can't believe that in less than a year we've come from painting the walls at midnight to being here.
Well, that just proves what hard work and dedication can do. In fact, there's been quite a few awards going out for businesses that haven't been open yet a year. Well, I mean, what do you think that says about the kind of business owner in St Albans?
I think it's a really positive thing for St Albans as a whole that new businesses are opening and the quality right from the start is so high and the customer service is really good.
Fantastic. I couldn't agree with you more. Now, Laura owns Carousel Handbags, so it is one of my favourite hotspots in St Albans. I keep kind of hinting around a couple of bags I hope to see under my Christmas tree this year. The list is already out. It must be wonderful having a shop where people come and it's just joy, pure joy.
Absolutely. The joy in the shop is amazing. It's fantastic. Your dear friend was almost in tears when she got presented with her favourite bag ever. So that is always positive. And having such a great quality of handbag and women coming in and loving it, being able to buy their ideal handbag without breaking the bank is just something that's so dear to my heart, and I love being able to do it.
And there was Ellie. Lots of Ellie seemed to know absolutely everybody, didn't she? Down there, it was tremendously impressive. Out and about as always, such as the name of her show. So thank you also, Ellie, on the night. You did a sort of fantastic job. So where are we going to now? What's the next category?
Right. Well, I think we're nearly coming to the end. Actually,
yes. We've got one more, and then the winners.
That's right. Yeah. And this was the top cafe or restaurant award, which went to L'Italiana, a lovely, lovely lady called Ella George, who had the biggest smile that I think I've ever seen, and the most vivid red lipstick surrounding it. But she was absolutely delighted and completely delightful, and talked about food at a time when we were absolutely ravenous. So if I sound as though I'm drooling in this interview, please forgive me. But there seemed to be quite a lot of Sicilian restaurants in St Albans, which I wasn't aware of. And
I didn't know.
This is one of those. So this is Ella George of L'Italiana. So I'm here with Ella George of L'Italiana, and she's got a very, very big smile on her face because she's just won not only the Restaurant of the Year award, which is a very, very hotly contested award at the St Albans Retailer of the Year Awards, but she's also just won the Star Prize in the raffle, so an even bigger smile.
Yes, I did.
Now then, tell us all about your restaurant. It's a very difficult category, the Restaurant of the Year.
It is, because obviously there's a lot of restaurants in St Albans, and there's a lot of family restaurants, there's a lot of chain restaurants, but lately the chain restaurants have dominated the market, really. Regarding Italian restaurants, we are a family-owned restaurant, and it's only 50 chairs, really, restaurant, so it's really tiny.
Yes.
But we try to keep it as traditional as we can and try to make our customers happy, really. We've got our Sicilian chefs, Sardinian chefs, so all South Italy chefs. And the staff upstairs that serve the customers are really happy to do so. All the customers who have been in has seen really how everybody's singing the Italian songs that are playing in the restaurant.
All right.
So that's just great atmosphere, and I think that's what really won it.
That's what really won it, and well deserved, I think, as well.
It sounds fantastic. I've got to go and visit that place as well. It sounded absolutely lovely.
I've been. It's lovely. Very garlicky. I love garlic. You go past and you get this lovely waft of fabulous Italian food, whatever time of day. Now I'm starting to drool.
Yes, I haven't eaten this evening, so that's it's starting to affect me as well. Okay, well, we're nearly at the end of the show, and we're going to come back and talk about the winners of obviously of a category in their own right, but also the overall retailer of the year. Straight after this.
The Solid Gold Music Show is here on Radio Verulam 92.6 FM every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Join Derek Staines and Stephen Hall for the music and news as they flash you back to decades past between 9 and 10. Yesterday Today updates the news on your favourite stars of yesterday. Or how about one of your children's favourites in Kids Corner just after 11 o'clock? Take part in competitions where we give away CDs, DVDs and vouchers which can be spent in your local stores. And make sure you don't miss out on Stephen's now legendary gripe just before the midday news. The Solid Gold Music Show is sponsored by Dockguard of Luton, and we'll be back on Radio Verulam this Saturday between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m.
You're listening to The Business on Radio Verulam. We're the voice of the local business community on 92.6 FM and on radioverulam.com.
Welcome back to The Business. It's a retailing special tonight. We're almost through the through the hour. We've had 8, but not 9 categories so far, because there was the 9th one was a very special company indeed.
Yes, they were a lovely, lovely group of guys called the Alternative Barbering Company. They had fantastic hairdos, as you can imagine. They also had fantastic tattoos as well. And they were delighted to have won the Health and Beauty Award. They really have found a niche in the market that doesn't seem to be satisfied. It sounded as though every single guy that walks into the place became one of their drinking buddies. So it's a bit of a lifestyle business too. And they then were the winners of the overall Retailer of the Year. So I think I actually met up with them at the point when they had just won their Health and Beauty Award. And
they were pretty boisterous at that point of the evening before they had. So let's hear a little bit from them then.
I'm here with Colin Cooper of the Alternative Barbering Company, based in George Street. They've just won the Hair and Beauty Award. And I have to say, some of his friends have just walked past with some fantastic hairdos. Colin.
I did those.
Oh, now they're heckling from the back. Colin, fantastic news. Congratulations. I understand that you're relatively new to St Albans.
Yeah, the shop's just over 3 years old, give or take a week.
And were you surprised to win this evening?
Yeah, very surprised. There's a lot of good people we're up against, so we're very humbled.
Oh, well. And is it going to be a very, very big celebration tonight?
I'd imagine so, yeah. Yeah.
So the boys are buying the champagne, that's why they've just nipped off to the bar, is it? And what's alternative about you? Why are you called the Alternative Barbering Company?
Try to put a bit more of a modern twist on the traditional barbershop, so we tend to take a little bit more time with the haircuts, try not to rush as much as you might find in your average kind of barbershop these days. So we try to be more of a bridge between a men's hairdressers and a barbershop, something that's comfortable for any guy to go into who doesn't want to sort of be rushed somewhere or pay salon prices somewhere else.
And how did you guys come together to set up the shop?
The shop was actually founded by Sam, who founded it 3 years ago, and then his good friend and now business partner Danny came into the equation about a year ago, along with myself, started around a similar time.
And did you train elsewhere and go and join the barbering?
Yeah, I've been hairdressing for 10 years, so I started off in Covent Garden, worked there for a while, then came to another salon in town here, and then joined the barbershop.
And is it a good fun place to work?
Yeah, brilliant place. Very, very fun, very relaxed. All the customers, we get on all with them very well. It's more like just a living room with friends than an actual shop with customers.
So do most of the people that you cut hair, they just sort of become friends and it turns into a bit of a...
Yeah, you build very strong relationships with your customers. In an environment like that as well, there's a lot of friendly sort of chats and stuff.
We've heard quite a lot this evening about the importance of putting customers at the centre of everything you do and that customer relationship. Do you think that might be why you won the award?
Yeah, it could be. We do try and spend a lot of time with our customers out of work as well. Sometimes you get to know them quite well. So yeah, I think the strong bonds would probably help, especially in a small town.
Excellent. Well, congratulations, Colin. That's the Alternative Barbering Company in George Street.
And yeah, sorry, Roma, go on.
Sorry, I was just going to say, and there you have it again, specialism, uniqueness.
Yes.
They've gone for something very specific in the marketplace, but they know how to sell it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever been into the barbers. I mean, they spent a fortune in there on reconditioning genuine barber chairs that I think they're 1950s, maybe even 1930s chairs. Yeah. And they've really made an effort to go back to original barbering techniques.
Do you think they'd sort Mabana out? Do you think?
I think they could.
I think they could do something with it.
Absolutely,
don't you?
I think so.
I'm sure
it's a bit wild.
Yeah, and whilst you're in there, why don't you see what they would recommend in terms of a tattoo on your neck?
Right, Vicky.
Tattoos are very in, you know.
I know.
Absolutely. In the 30 seconds we've got left, I mean, Vicky and Roma. I mean, do you sort of you've picked up on one already, Roma, sort of in terms of sort of specialism. Vicky, I mean, we were there on that evening. I mean, what was the one sort of memory for you, do you think?
Well, I think the message that was coming through to me loud and clearly was customer service, focus on customers, focus on what your customer wants and treat them as well as you possibly can, make them feel special. And the ones that were doing that were the winners.
So say all of us. Congratulations to all the winners on the Retailer of the Year. This has been our retailing special, and thank you to Vicky and Roma, and good night from myself as well. Have a good evening.
If there's anything in the show you want to talk to us about, phone us on 01727 839 926 or email thebusiness@radioverulam.com.